Today on Simply Cooking, it's all about bacon. My favorite. I'm making a BLT bar with my own bacon fresh from a whole pork belly. You really don't want to miss it. Today I am building a BLT bar. I had a wedding celebration where we had a build your own BLT bar because Wendell and I just love BLTs. If you've seen the show before, you know we like to call ourselves a Caesar salad connoisseur, but we're also kind of a BLT connoisseurs. Whenever we see it on a menu or whenever we want a cozy night at home, BLTs happen to always end up on whatever we're eating. So today I am going to show you something really cool. I am making my own bacon. I have a whole pork belly that I have cut into different pieces. And if you watch any of the earlier episodes, like my prep bowl episode, I used part of the pork belly to make a honey and tamari Asian inspired pork. But with the rest of it, I have been making bacon. So I cut my pork belly into two pieces and I scored the side with the fat. The reason I did that is because you can see the meat is underneath the fat, and I wanted the flavors from the rub that I was going to put on to make it inside. So I rubbed in between each cut. It was a mixture of salt, coconut sugar, pepper, chili flakes, and garlic powder, and I put it and rubbed it on really, really well. And I've cured these in the fridge, flipping the bag every day for a week. This morning, I turned on my oven to 200, and I have my other pork belly piece ready to go. Now this has been baking for almost 3 hours at 200, and it will rest for us to cool down so that I can then slice it into strips and bake those as actual bacon. What's neat is that this is also where you could smoke it from here to there. Traditional bacon that you buy at the grocery store is probably smoked. So after they do this step, they put it in a smoker instead of in the oven. But I don't happen to have a smoker, so I used my oven. So I have my bacon going. So with a BLT bar, we want flavor, flavor, flavor. So I've got some caramelized onions happening over here. It's the middle of summer here. And the abundance of tomatoes is just fantastic. I have 16 tomato plants, and every morning for the last couple weeks I've been picking. So I've got this beautiful bowl of fresh tomatoes, these caramelized onions, and there's garlic in here as well. I did half butter and half olive oil. And I'm going to use this tomato because it happens to be the softest one. And I'm going to chop this up, and we're making a caramelized onion and tomato jam to go on our BLTs. I have some people coming over in a while, so we're doing BLT sandwiches, build your own, and we're doing a BLT salad. So I talk about the BLT salad. For the BLT salad, I'm going to be using this piece here. Earlier, I talked about how every year I buy a whole entire pig, and we spend 4 days preparing it and processing it all at my Nona's house. We make salami and pancetta, and this is the pancetta. So pancetta is cured pork belly. We take the whole entire pork belly and we cover it in salt, and we let it sit for a day or two, and then my Nona will wash it and dry it off. Look at that dirt right from the middle of the tomato. You can't get any fresher than garden fresh than that, can you? Then she will wash it and re-salt it. And then it sits in the salt, I think it's for about a week. And then she dries it off and hangs it, just like we hang the salami. And then it cures. Once it's cured, you can actually eat it raw, just like that. Or you can crisp it up like you would bacon, which is what I'm going to be doing today. I don't want to miss any of this delicious juice here. Give this a good stir. I had already salted the onions when I started caramelizing them, but now I'm going to salt it again because we want multiple layers of flavor, and also some nice black pepper as well. And my induction cooktop just turned off because I got some tomato juices on it. That's okay. We'll just let that meld together and we'll pretend that it's simmering because, can I get it back on in time? I can. All right. I built this kitchen for this show and we only finished it hours before filming. So this stovetop is still really new to me. Okay, I'm gonna clean this up. So I have this pan ready here lined with parchment paper because I'm going to actually bake my pancetta in here. I want to make bacon bits for my BLT salad. So that's what I'm going to use this for. And then once they've rendered and crisped up for us in the oven, I'm going to take the fat from the pancetta and I'm going to coat some potato fries with it because you can't have a BLT bar without French fries. So this is the cured pancetta. It still has the skin on it, so it's a little bit hard to cut through, but you can see the beautiful fat and the meat, and it glistens, and it's just fantastic. So I'm gonna cut this up, get these pieces into my baking pan here with the parchment paper. I'm gonna let this simmer down. Let's turn that down. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to slice up my cooled bacon to get it onto a pan to crisp that up. I'm gonna finish my caramelized onion tomato jam. These little pancetta bacon bits should be able to come out of the oven. And then I'm gonna slice up these potatoes on the break. And what I'm actually gonna do with the potatoes, I'm gonna slice them really, really thin. And then I'm going to rinse them and submerge them into some ice water. And then I'm going to lay them out on a towel and dry them up really well. Maybe I'll show you that. We'll see you after the break.
Be sure to follow Daniela on Instagram at MmmChef for all the latest posts, including behind-the-scenes looks of the Simply Cooking set and some delicious culinary creations that will definitely make you hungry. And if you've missed an episode, don't worry because we have you covered. You can tune in or set your PVR to one of the rebroadcasts or log on to rogerstv.com/Ottawa or our YouTube page to check out all of our previous seasons and episodes.
So my pork belly, bacon now is cooled pretty much. I can now touch it and cut it. My pancetta is out of the oven. Look how crispy. Oh my, so yummy. I'm gonna take this out and just get them in here so that I can use this fat to toss my French fries in. Like I said earlier, I cut my French fries really, really skinny. And as soon as they were cut, I rinsed them in super, super, super cold water. And then I actually rolled them up into a towel so that they could get as dry as possible before I mix them with the fat. That's a trick to getting them really, really crispy. When you rinse them off after you cut them, it helps to remove some of the starch. And then also when you make them as dry as you possibly can, it helps them to get crispier so that they don't steam, and also helps the oil and the coating to stick onto the outside. So let's make sure these guys are nice and dry. All my little skinny French fries. I used russet potatoes, which are the best French fry potatoes in my opinion, but you could obviously use whatever French fry potato you want. Or if you don't eat potatoes and nightshades, I do this with carrots, and I've even done it with squash. Okay, my super dry potatoes, my bacon fat, my pancetta fat, yummy. We have some garlic powder because who doesn't love the flavor of garlic on French fries? That was a little bit more than I thought I would use, but can't really have too much garlic, can you? Some fresh rosemary from my garden, some fresh thyme from the garden. I'm just gonna give this a quick chop and get it on my potatoes and in the pan in the oven. I have my oven set to 450. I'm gonna quickly bake these potatoes at 450 for probably about 10 minutes. Then I'm going to turn the oven down to 375. I will take the potatoes out and let them rest. Then I will put my bacon strips into the oven at 375. I'll let those come up really nice and crispy. And then right before service, I'll pop these French fries back in the oven for just a minute or so to get them nice and hot again. If you have an air fryer, these are great to put in there. I did air fryer fries on my burger and fries episode last season. So I thought I would show you my skinny, crispy oven fries. Oven fries are definitely something that Wendell and I eat a lot. When we were younger, before I went to culinary school, we always had a bag of frozen fries in the freezer. Now we tend to make our own from scratch a lot more. But, you know, in a pinch, on a busy week, on a busy night, I can't say that I haven't bought, excuse me, a rotisserie chicken and a bag of frozen fries. All right, let me get these guys into the oven. And I'm gonna have a sip of coffee because my throat is a little bit raspy. Thank you for bearing with me. All right, so now we have our bacon pork belly. I am so excited about it. Check it out. You can see the bacon right there. You've got this beautiful fat cap that has all the flavor on the inside. And I could eat this now because it is technically cooked all the way through and it has been cured, but I want it to get really nice and crispy. I think I'm actually just gonna cut it on the pan because I don't wanna make too big of a mess. And oh, it slides like butter. That fat just is so tender and my super sharp knife just goes right through it. Check that out, everyone. It is just fantastic. Okay, this is really thick, so I'm going to keep this one off to the side and see if I can get some thinner pieces going here. You could, if you had the bacon fat in advance, actually I was thinking on the break, instead of using butter and olive oil to saute my tomato and onion jam, I certainly could have used some bacon fat. That would have brought it up to a whole other level, bacon tomato jam. But since the jam is going on a bacon sandwich, it's okay. So let's get a full tray of these. Then next segment, I'm going to be building my BLT salad. So these bacon pieces will go on our sandwiches. I have a few different types of bread and some wraps. And then the pancetta pieces there that are really crispy, they will go into the BLT salad with my garden fresh cherry tomatoes. And then I have these gluten-free everything bagels over here. And when those were being baked by a lovely friend of mine, Carla, she actually made me some croutons with everything but the bagel seasoning and the bagel dough. So that's what we're going to use as the bread component of our BLT salad. So BLT bars can have so many different flavors, but I'm doing all the classic stuff today. So today I'm going to have mayonnaise and ketchup. I'm going to slice up some cheese from New Grocery, really nice and thin, to make a BLTC, which is a bacon, lettuce, tomato, cheese, which is what my grandma Jackie is all about. And then for me, I'm doing a BLTA, which is bacon, lettuce, tomato, avocado. And then I might, if I have time, fry up an egg, which would be a belt, a bacon, egg, lettuce, tomato. So anyway, okay, look at that. Room for my last slice of bacon. I'm gonna get this bacon into the oven. It's gonna get nice and crispy for me at 375 once my potatoes are a bit crisp and I reduce the heat. I'm going to do that on the break. And then I'm gonna put this away in the fridge and I can use it later to make bacon, or I can cut it up into chunks I won't waste the fat either. And actually, I also don't waste the fat when I peeled the skin off of this. I save the skins so that I can flavor things like marinara and sauces and soups. So I'll get this in the bowl, we'll get things in the oven, and we'll see you after the break.
Food and discussion go hand in hand. Join the conversation on Instagram at MmmChef. Send us your questions. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you like to make. Maybe even send a picture of your own culinary creations. Good food, bringing people together for centuries.
You can make an Italian chef do an episode that doesn't have any Italian food in it, but you can't take the Italian ingredient out. I love French fries with Parmigiano Reggiano. I am grating some fresh cheese on these hot French fries that I took out of the oven just a second ago. They are crispy and hot. I gotta try. You hear that crunch? I love BLTs and fries. All right. I get my Parmesan French fries here, ready to go. My friends are all on their way, so they should be here soon. So I'm going to get the rest of my BLT bar all set up. I'll just get rid of that. I do have some eggs here for the belt, so whenever my friends come, whoever wants an egg on their BLT, I'll fry it up for them fresh. Okay, so my BLT salad. I have my fresh, beautiful greens here. I've got some cherry tomatoes that I picked fresh from my garden this morning. So I'm gonna get these all cut in half little pieces and onto my salad. I'm not going to dress this salad until my guests come. I'm going to use a mayonnaise-based dressing because what goes better with BLTs than mayonnaise? You could certainly use whatever dressing you like. And if you didn't want to do a green or you wanted something like this to last throughout the week, you could do a different take on a BLT salad. You could do a BPT salad, which is a bacon pasta tomato salad or a bacon potato tomato salad. So just boil up some pasta or some tomatoes and then do like a nice mayonnaise-based dressing with bacon bits and cherry tomatoes, and you can put some arugula in there because arugula would last really nicely throughout the week. Okay, so I've got my cherry tomatoes. I've got my beautiful pancetta bacon bits. I gotta eat one because, or two maybe. And I have my beautiful everything but the bagel, seasoned bagel croutons. And I'll just set this to the side and wait for when my friends arrive. Now I'm gonna take my bacon out of the oven. The pièce de résistance today, this beautiful pork belly that I cured in a rub for a week, and I baked it for 3.5 hours at 200 degrees Celsius. And then I sliced it thin. You guys saw me do that. Took it out, and here we go. Look how beautiful that is. We've got crispy outsides, a lovely sheen. It's cooked all the way through. I think this piece might be for me. Oh my gosh. If I do say so, I'm a great chef. This is fantastic. Okay, let's get my bacon on the tray here. So I love bacon and ketchup. I love to eat breakfast for dinner. BLTs, as I said, not only am I a Caesar salad connoisseur, I'm also a bacon connoisseur. I love to dip bacon into ketchup. So I thought, you know, with Canadian, Italian, let's mix it all together. We have some Parmesan cheese with some bacon drippings and then dipping that in the ketchup. Kind of tastes like a bacon mac and cheese, but in a French fry. So we're doing all the bacon flavors that people are used to today. So I have these beautiful fresh Roma tomatoes from my garden that I picked this morning. Typically in a traditional BLT at a restaurant or at a diner, you would find a beefsteak tomato, one of those big round fat guys, but I don't have any that are ripe right now. So this Roma will do wonderfully. You know, in a pinch, I have even been known to cut up some cherry tomatoes and make a BLT wrap with the cherry tomatoes inside instead of having a slice of tomato. When I was growing up after school in middle school and in high school, I would often make BLT sandwiches after school. My mom always had that, I mean, we won't dare use that now, but my mom used to buy that Ready Crisp stuff where you would just take a couple slices of the bacon out of the package and heat it up real quick on the stove or in the microwave, and I would have a quick, delicious BLT in less than a couple minutes after school. Then when I became a culinary student and I started learning about, you know, real foods and stuff like that, that's when I started making my own bacon. There's nothing like it, but you know, in a pinch, I will still eat a piece of Ready Crisp because I love all bacon. Okay. We'll get rid of all this stuff because I need to build myself a sandwich before all my friends get here. Okay, what do I have going on? I've got, well, another fry for sure. So I have this gluten-free, beautiful bread here. It's a nice wide loaf. I have these everything but the bagel seasoned bagels. These bagels and this bread here is gluten-free because I do have a couple people coming who are gluten-free, but they're not celiac. So I've cut up some traditional bread next to it. So the cross-contamination doesn't matter because they're not actually celiac. They just choose to eat gluten-free. So I have some fresh mayo here. You could take this up to the next level by turning it into like a pesto mayo, or you could add some everything but the bagel seasoning to it and then turn it into an everything bagel mayo. But I'm just gonna do the classic, a good smear on there. This is my family's homemade bread that you've seen me use before. I love it. Okay, some mayo, a little piece of iceberg lettuce. I chose iceberg lettuce because it's nice and crispy. It's definitely my favorite lettuce to use in a BLT salad or sandwich or any of it. A nice piece of bacon, a nice piece of tomato, a piece of avocado, and I'm gonna enjoy this before my friends get here. We'll see you next time.